right, we're recording the Q&A for Cyber Underground with writer-director Rudy Chimich. Hey, Rudy, good to meet you.
Hey.
So, Cyber Underground. Before we started the recording, we discussed it a little. I have to say, I love your film. I think your film is so good. I was going to call it cyber noir or cyberpunk noir, and we seem to agree on that. And I have to say, it reminds me of like the best independent films I've seen. You know, it reminds me of stuff from, stuff like Pi and other just really rock solid, well made, completely, we used to, what was that term? Like guerrilla filmmaking, where you just have a really good idea and a really dedicated filmmaker, cast and crew, and you just make it happen. And that's kind of how, and then your film itself, and we're not going to include spoilers here because we're saving your film. Your film is not screening as part of the festival because of COVID, because we can't be in theaters, so you're holding off your premiere. But
yeah, we can discuss some of the plot points.
Yeah, we can discuss that stuff. But I just want to say, in general, for everyone who didn't get to see it yet, this film takes you on the story kicks in early and well, and at no point, I mean, I was just completely engrossed in the film the whole way. Obviously you can tell us about the budget, but I mean, it's got a really raw, independent feel. And I think for the whole length, what is it, almost 80 minutes, you just take me on
it's around 90 minutes.
Yeah, 90 minutes. You just take me on this great ride. And I'm just completely engrossed in the story. I'm saying so little because I'm not giving away anything. But yeah, go ahead and tell me about the genesis of the project. Like, did you set out to write something for the budget level? Did you just write this and say, hey, you know what, I could make this on the streets of Toronto?
Yeah, that's exactly what I had in mind. So going into it, I wanted to have something that, the sort of film that could only be made on a very low budget. I guess that would be the best way of putting it. And so I was definitely very influenced by those, so especially the indie films from the 1990s that also tended to use that sort of grainy black and white style. Also the film The Naked City back from the 1940s, that one was also a pretty big influence on me. But all in all, there were quite a lot of, especially Hong Kong cinema and Japanese cinema as well. There were quite a lot of films that influenced me in this.
And you started with that right from the script?
So for the script, I had the idea that I wanted to do something that was low budget. I mean, obviously we're constrained by the budget to begin with, but I wanted to sort of film that, but we're not trying to hide that we have a low budget, and we're going for a very sort of edgy and cool kind of feel. So the sort of thing that could only have been made on a very low budget. And in kind of showing a different side to Toronto from what's normally seen on film.
I have to say it works perfectly, and for me, in a lot of ways, the way you embrace that low budget aesthetic makes me enjoy it more, because I think it's just the quality of your ideas that really just make it happen.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, I guess the way that I would, I just had it. So when I was making the film, I didn't want it to seem as though we were trying to make something that had where we wanted a higher budget, but we were constrained and needed to make a lot of compromises. so going into it, I already had, when I was writing the scenes, I knew the locations I was going to shoot at. I scouted out the city quite a bit just to find the sort of places I gave the sort of aura that I was going for. And yeah, when we'd already started shooting, I'd already planned it out from beginning to end.
And the
But yeah,
cyberpunk.
overall, I had a. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, finish.
Oh no. I was just gonna say yeah, we planned it out quite a bit already going into it, and um, a lot of it was just taking pictures and then trying to play around with the sort of contrast settings. And I settled on a sort of grainy black and white style, and then from there, I actually wrote the script. I was writing the script around the same time when I was doing that, but I had an idea of of the style that we were going for already when we started shooting.
Yeah, and it's yeah, you take that style and it just fits perfectly. So yeah, you didn't need more money. You had it's just perfect for what you did. So like was this a group of friends? Was there a community around this of people who knew each other, and you had, you knew about camera, this, that, actors, or did you crew up and do casting and stuff to get there?
So yeah, we did. There were a group of friends that I was working with. So Brendan, the production manager, him and I were the first ones going into it. And after that, we started bringing on more people. We brought in the actors first. For the first few shoots, it was pretty much just me behind the camera, and then we would have a makeup person and a few other people occasionally. But then as the filming went on, we had to, because some of the scenes that we were shooting later on, they required a lot more preparation going into it. So at that point, we really expanded the crew. But um, yeah, there were a sort of circle of people that were in the sort of that were behind it from the beginning and through the whole thing.
Cast also, did you have people in mind as you were writing who could play those roles?
For the cast, it was a little bit different. So we casted the roles that required several shooting days. We casted in advance. But for some of the minor roles, we tended to cast them around a few weeks before the shoot, just so that there wouldn't be time issues. Let's say if we found a person in October and they agreed to do a certain role, we wanted to make sure that, because obviously in the acting world, things tend to change in a very short amount of time. So we felt it would be a lot safer just to cast. Oh, is the internet? Is your
You're
internet
okay.
working?
You're okay right now.
Oh, okay. I just had the warning there. But yeah, we felt it would be a lot safer just to cast the main roles going into it, and then for the roles that required 1 or 2 days of shooting, those ones we could cast a few weeks before, just so that the person would be 100% sure that they were available. But yeah, from a logistics standpoint, I found that to be most efficient.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how long did it take you to shoot this?
It took from altogether around 6 months. So yeah, around half a year.
And was that like shooting on weekends because people were working, or?
Yeah, it was for the most part shooting on weekends, and then very rarely, if we needed to squeeze something in, we might shoot on a weekday or on a weekday very late at night.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, we're in describing the film, we both use the term noir. So I'm having a hard time thinking of anything that takes place during the day.
Oh yeah, we shot some of the. There was once, so the cipher scene takes place during the day. There were some other ones, but overall, I wanted to make sure that the film in general takes place mostly at nighttime.
And to
For
get
the
that
mood, I think that's
beautiful, oh sorry, to get that beautiful black and white look, it really has a film look. Did you do anything technically to get that? Did you experiment?
um, I the way that we did that is we would just shoot on a DSLR, and then so we would shoot in color originally, and then we might manipulate some of the colors in post production. So in DaVinci Resolve, that's the editing program that I use.
And you knew from the get-go you were making this black and white.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, right from the beginning, we knew it was going to be black and white.
And cool, so you got that because there's like a graininess that I really enjoyed in it.
Yeah, so we wanted to make it look very, uh, yeah, very great, very real world. Something. So like the film The French Connection, something along those lines. So we would something that's at the same time an art film. So where we do most of the shots in the film are done on a tripod, and I did uh, pay a lot of attention to the details just to make sure everything was framed well. But I would occasionally switch between those shots that would be still and the shots where it would be moving around very chaotically, especially the ones where I would reduce the frame rate. And those ones were, at least what I was going for with that was just to have, how would I describe it? So to make it very atmospheric, but then to also put the viewer into the world. So they can get a 3D perception of where the story is taking place.
Were you the cinematographer also?
Yeah, I was operating the camera for it.
Yeah, so and directing the actors, so you were like some of those films Soderbergh made.
Oh yeah, I guess something like that.
Cool. Well, you mentioned the sci-fi versus not sci-fi debate.
Oh yeah.
When you were writing, were you thinking of it as sci-fi because of the cyberpunk
I
influence?
wasn't necessarily thinking of it. So I wanted to make a film that was the epitome of techno, a very, so at the same time, a very by the book film noir, like the ones from the 1940s, but then also a very cyberpunk film. So cyberpunk noir, I guess, would be the best title for it.
Yeah, I
But in
have to
terms of
say, I think
science fiction,
that was another thing. You know, I mean, we've all seen the hacker character in Hollywood movies, and right, I don't think there's ever been a hacker that in a Hollywood movie that wasn't just a joke. Like you can tell that the screenwriter didn't have a clue about computer culture or hacker culture. And your film seems really true to it.
yeah, I tried to do my best to not get into any of the technical jargon. So for the coding aspect, I'm somewhat familiar with that. I never went for computer science myself, but so I went to university for physics and astrophysics, and we had to do a lot of coding for that. So I am familiar with most of the sort of subcultures surrounding that. But when it comes to the actual jargon, there's no way to, I don't want to say there's 100% no way, but it would be very hard to set up a story that that's faithful to that sort of material. It's just not very, it wouldn't be able to keep an audience entertained for very long.
No, it'd be too static. It'd just be people typing.
Yeah, I guess maybe some of the philosophical concepts in computer science, but yeah, overall there would be no way to somehow squeeze in something regarding JavaScript or MATLAB or something like that.
Well, and I'm not surprised that you have a physics and astrophysics background, a very technical scientific field, because this film definitely, I'm not surprised that this came from someone with that kind of background, because the film just seems so like respectful of that part of the mind or of the brain, whatever you want, however you want to say it.
Yeah, so when it comes to hacking in Hollywood films, I do, even though I mean, obviously it does tend to be very slapstick, but at the same time, I can 100% understand why they do it in that way. So a film like Hackers from 1995, obviously it's not faithful to any, I mean, that's obviously not how hacking works in real life, but at the same time, it is an entertaining film. And you wouldn't be able to make something like that if you weren't willing to really stretch the imagination.
For sure, they're making entertainment. I mean, you're making entertainment too, but so back to the film. So around 6 months of shooting, mostly on weekends. Your camera. Are you? How big is your crew?
Fluctuating between around 2 to 8 people, I would estimate.
And your sets, the locations you found, were you also really managing the production design and what we saw in front of that lens?
Yeah, for the most part, it wasn't just me. So on some of the shoots, there would be, so Tomoya, the production assistant, she worked on some of the set design for the party scene. My brother and I were the ones who set up the main character's apartment. But apart from that, it would just be, yeah, arriving on set. Most of the locations that we shot at were, for the most part, faithful to how they were represented in the film. But
Cool.
yeah, mostly the production design was mostly for the apartment, I would say.
Yeah, which was a very cool space. And then after you shot this, uh, tell me about post production. Was it prolonged? Did it come together just how you picture, or were you editing as you went so that you were getting a good idea of how it's coming together?
Yeah, so my editing style, I wouldn't say was the most efficient. So going into it, I had an idea of the sort of music that I wanted. But after I had cut the film together, I pretty much replaced every single one of the pieces of music that I'd done beforehand. There were traces of them that can be found in the pieces that are still in the film, but overall, I spent a lot of time, um, yeah, making sure I get the right sort of feel for that. I think for these any sort of low budget films, you really need to. It can't be overstated how important the style is, in my opinion. That's why I spent a very, I put in more time working on that than I did even shooting the film.
And by style, you mean the look of the film?
So everything, so the music combined with the visuals. So to make sure that when a scene takes place, let's say I don't want to get too much into spoilers, but let's say if there's a very suspenseful scene, just to make sure that um, the music fits that sort of atmosphere that you're going for.
Yeah, I'd say you completely accomplished that. And I mean, yeah, the word style, it's a very stylish film, which I think is another way to say why I enjoyed it so much, because the style fits the subject perfectly, the style fits the budget perfectly, so that there's no sense of compromise. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you made something very stylish.
So I think one of the things that really helps me for setting the style is listening to music while at the same time looking at different either landscape photographs, usually of the location, or photographs of or even just the scene in general, but usually stills from a certain scene, because that way you can match up the sort of music that you're going for with the actual thing that you're seeing. And I think that's really where a lot of the magic comes from.
And what music were you listening to?
A lot of pretty much every genre, but a lot of progressive house from the 1990s, trip hop, uh, a lot of the bands from Bristol in England. So Massive Attack, Portishead, um, synthwave was definitely a big influence, and a lot of apart from that, some modern music as well. But I would say mostly music from around the 80s to 90s.
Excellent, very cool. Well, when you say you referred to the editing or post-production as not terribly efficient, around how long did it take you?
Oh, it took me around, so I was in university at the time. So it I had to take a break for around 3 months just before I graduated, just to make sure everything went smoothly. But all in all, I would say around 8 months plus COVID after that. The COVID thing really, sent me a curveball because I wasn't planning to put it off until 2021. But yeah, that was, I guess when you add that, it becomes even longer. But overall, I would say around 8 months.
So you made this while getting your bachelor's in physics or
Yeah.
astrophysics. So you just made it's a complete passion project because it's
Oh no,
not. Oh,
so I've been working in film for pretty much my whole adult life. It's not something that, so I guess, you could say it's a passion project, in the sense that it is very low budget, but at the same time, it is something that I was planning for a long time, and I have, um, so film isn't something that I see as just a side career that I'm doing. I would consider both of those to be equally important to me.
yeah, I was just implying that it wasn't made for like a graduate program in film or something.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
did it. You
Yeah,
didn't.
no,
It came completely from you while you were pursuing another degree, really, right?
yeah. So some of the people that were involved are film students, but um, yeah, most of us, I'm not sure exactly what Nick went to university for. I know it was something technical, but yeah, most of us, some were film students, but the vast majority of us were, yeah, found our way into film some other way.
Cool. So you graduated into a pandemic, which kind of sucks. But
Yeah,
are you
oh, it's not too bad.
are you planning more? You got another film brewing in the back of your mind?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm planning after this one to um, move on to other things, but yeah, right now I'm just focused on making sure that this one has a good festival run.
Excellent. Well, I would hope it does. I hope it has a great run. And knock on wood, I saw some, can't really trust it, but I saw some news about a vaccine this morning. So,
Oh,
you know, the sooner we can get back in theaters, the sooner people can start seeing this film the way it should be seen.
yeah. Well,
What's the biggest screen you've seen it on so far? Like, did you get to watch it in a screening room at some point, or has it been all on big monitors?
yeah, all on monitors up to this point.
Well, I can tell you that when I screen films for the festival as a member of the jury, I connect I connect a HDMI cable up to the laptop and throw it on the 55-inch TV. And I was really glad to watch your film that way on a bigger screen, because I don't think I think the visual style of it is so artistically worthy that I would have been disappointed to watch it on 20 inches or 27.
Yeah, you've seen it on a bigger screen than I have so far.
Well, you got to I guess you can now. I was about to say invite some friends over and throw it on a bigger TV, but we can't even have friends over in this world, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah, usually for the feedback now, we're just doing it online. So yeah, so I would post it on some sort of one of the cloud services, and then share it to some of the other members of the crew. But yeah, apart from a few screenings that I've done at home, not nowhere where we've actually had it up on a screen. It's been very hard trying to set something up where we can have a lot of people like that.
It's a tough time. It's a tough time for an art form that calls out for the gathering of people in
Yeah.
a big space with a big screen. Yeah. Well, I think you did some great work here, and I'm very proud to have it be a an official selection for Sherman Oaks Film Festival.
Oh yeah, I'm honored by the official selection.
And it was a pleasure to talk to you. Do you have anyone, any thank yous or anything you'd like to throw in?
Yeah, just a thank you to the entire cast and the crew of the film, because it was definitely it was a lot of work for everybody.
Yeah, and you obviously had a lot of dedicated people involved, because you don't uh, you don't do something over the course of 6 months without some really good people helping out.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right, Rudy. Well, we've talked for a good while, so I think it's kind of fair for me to stop recording, and we can go back to discussing sci-fi versus thriller noir.
Okay.
All right, I'll hit stop.